Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Tommo, and welcome to the pre-race Chinwag for the 2024 Belgian Grand Prix. How are we doing, everyone? Thank you all for joining, wherever you are in the world. It's a pleasure, as always. Thank you all to everyone who's audio only, which this doesn't show on screen. I've clicked the wrong thing. I've immediately clicked the wrong thing, which is a great start. Audio only, ears, lugs only. Maybe we'll get onto Alpine later on. They have brought a little bit of a saucy livery, haven't they, this weekend to the Belgian Grand Prix. I'm feeling very red today. I feel like I'm blending into the background. It's quite warm, and my complexion doesn't quite take to it. Hello, Jerome, IDK Sand, Her, YKK, Ricardo, McPhillan, Woodo, Halita, Daniel, Professor Z, Rainer, Dan, Alexis, Lugi, Jerome, Clorox, Vedant, IBK, Formula, Sonny, Tina, Noah, Haru, Carl. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate you taking the time. It's very kind. Actually, you know what? Halita, I'm going to make you a mod because you are very diligent and bosh. You can be a standard moderator. There you go. There's two options. Bosh. There's a responsibility that you didn't ask for. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for taking the time. Let's have a little talk about the Belgian Grand Prix. Round 14 of this 2024 Formula 1 season. The final race before the 3-week break. 3 weeks of feet up, chilling, relaxing. And yeah, you know what? This could be crunch time, couldn't it? This could be Checo's last race in a Red Bull. This could be Daniel's last race in a Racing Bulls, or Yuki's last race in a Racing Bulls, or Liam's last race not in a seat. There's all that going on. Obviously, we've got what happened in Hungary between the McLarens, and see how they're going to PR their way around that one. Because, well, they've given themselves quite the public issue, haven't they? The McLarens. So, yeah, I mean, driver market, you would expect some stuff to be sorted over this 3-week period. Maybe Carlos would have made up his mind. Maybe he won't have. Who knows? It seems that he's still not sure, and he's kind of biding his time. Will he bide his time for too long? Will doors start to close? Perhaps. But yeah, back in Spa. A race that doesn't typically give us the best wheel-to-wheel action, but, and we saw this last time out in 23, the rain falls and it can cause a little bit of chaos. Now, of course, a Red Bull 1-2, you might think, it's a bit dull. Max was serving a five-place penalty. He put it on pole. Dropped down to start the race in P6, gearbox change, made his way through the pack, won the race fairly comfortably. It got a little bit skittish, didn't it, in the wet. And well, there's been numerous reports suggesting that Max will take a 10-place grid drop for this Grand Prix and make his way from the back. He's done it before around Spa. It's the kind of track with the straight lines that I think the Red Bull, this is the kind of track where they should take a penalty, because I think this track really plays to their strengths. The aerodynamic efficiency of that car, the lack of bad curbs, the nasty curbs that catch the Red Bull out. There's curbs, obviously, but they're much smoother in Spa. I think this is the place for them to take it, and I do anticipate a Max recovery drive. But, of course, things are a lot closer right now, so if he is taking a 10th place, the chance of him winning are pretty unlikely. Unless, of course, the rain comes out. If the rain comes out to play, then we'll see. But, yeah, I mean, if he does take a pen, which it does sound like he's gonna, he shouldn't win the race. Not with the pace of the McLarens. Definitely not. And maybe the Mercedes, a bit cooler temperatures. I imagine, Spa compared to Hungary. It's going to be cooler, probably rain as well. I reckon the Mercedes might come alive somewhat as well. Thank you, YKK, by the way, for the super chat. Very kind of you. Thank you, YKK. Much appreciated. And thank you, Matthew, as well. Big up the Aussies. Love it. Look, you've got to indulge in Oscar's victory, haven't you? I think it might have taken the edge off it in the moment, what happened, the drama, but I think, it's settled in for Oscar. He's got his first win. He firmly deserved his first win, absolutely. And we'll see if he can follow it up. Obviously, last time out in Spa, he set it up the inside, didn't he? And it was one of many incidents between him and Carlos Sainz. It kind of got squeezed against the wall. It was quite a opportunistic move, and he took a big risk, and he ended up not paying off. So, yeah, we'll see. And anyone going this weekend? Anyone going to be there? Daniel, did you say that you're going? Yeah, nice. Well, enjoy if you are going this weekend. Bring a poncho, rain jacket, umbrella, whatever, right? Because the chance of rain, it's got this only little microclimate in Spa, doesn't it? So, yeah, good luck. Enjoy it. Actually, a good friend of mine, Matt Amos, is out there recording a video, which I think is going to be very cool. I'm not going to spoil what the video is because I don't know if he's told the world yet, but it looks like it's going to be pretty exciting. So, I'm excited anyway. But the connection's dropped and we're back. That's weird. That happened last stream. It just randomly dropped the internet and then just randomly came back. Meh. I mean, we're here. We're still live. Reconnection is successful. So we're going to crack on and reflect on the driver's stand 13 of 24 race weekends so far. We're just over 50% of the way through the season. Now, obviously, that gap that is 76 points between Max Verstappen and Lando Norris could have been 69 points if he had stayed ahead and taken the win in Hungary. Will we come back to this moment and reflect on this as a missed opportunity? Perhaps not. I think you've got to look at, if you're getting to a mid-season point, where you've still got 50% of the Grand Prix available to go, you've got to look at the size of the gap, but also the momentum of the teams. Now, McLaren does seem to be, I wouldn't say a clear challenger to Red Bull, but I feel like McLaren and Red Bull right now are kind of on their own. And then there's a little jump down to Mercedes and Ferrari. I think if Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull and McLaren were all absolutely level on performance, I'm not talking about points, I'm talking about performance going into any given weekend. Obviously, cars vary, different tracks, different temperatures. Some cars do better on the hards versus on the mediums. If you ranked the cars from best to worst on each compound, that list would look different for each compound. So, because it does feel like McLaren are a clear, 1-2 with Red Bull up there, if not maybe slightly more complete than Red Bull right now. I'm trying to not and ah so much and actually finish my points, because listening to myself back on the Sky podcast, I do that way too much. And I shouldn't do that. And I need to work on that. So, because there's not... Ferrari and Mercedes aren't quite there. I think if they were, it would be like that. There's no Drivers' Championship. Because other people, Ferrari drivers and Mercedes drivers, are going to take points off of Lando. In this current form, as the McLaren is right now, and the Mercedes and the Ferrari, and obviously that can change and that will change as the season goes on, because they'll bring upgrades. But it does feel like it's quite clear that Lando's probably the favourite going into each race now. That will change again with upgrades, that will change. But as things stand right now, and as things have stood for the last maybe 5-6 races. Yeah. Interesting. Oscar Piastri's obviously caught right up as well. He's only 5 points behind Carlos Sainz. And as things are going, again, that momentum that McLaren have and the momentum that Ferrari do not, the gap's closing. The gap is closing. Jonathan, are there any upgrades this week? Good question. To be honest, Jonathan, I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything about upgrades. I think is it F1 Unchained is a pretty good channel. He covers a lot of the upgrade stuff. So, yeah, we'll see how that pans out. Hello, Viz. Good to see you, mate. Listen, F1's not cooked for a while, but once it gets competitive at the front, it's all the more exciting. So, yeah, shame your Polish boy Kubica ain't here, though, anymore. What a man. What a legend. doing bits in WEC though. So fair play to him. McLaren. It's just funny, isn't it? Like how that managed to manifest. It's just like, damn, the bomb was dropped. Otherwise, I mean, Checo again. If this whole 100 points behind Max by the mid-season break thing is true, well, he is now an entire race win worth of points behind Oscar Piastri. And even if Checo wins this race, he would also have to get fastest lap to jump Piastri. Otherwise, I reckon Piastri's got the best other results, you know? And that also requires Oscar to score nil points. So mathematically, it is pretty much impossible if those get out clauses in his contract are to be believed, the 100 points behind Max and no lower than P5 it is pretty much mathematically impossible for Checo to turn it around. However, around a track like Spa, again, it plays to the strengths that we know have. I expect something from Checo. I don't expect him to be the clanger this weekend. Spoiler alert. Do you reckon Perez has had the better podium results? I don't know, Liam. I'm not sure. Obviously, Perez did have a good start to the year. That's the thing. So as much as Oscar has been clear recently, at the start of the year, Checo was firmly clear. So not mathematically, no, but like very the chances are teeny tiny. Otherwise, in terms of driver standings, I mean, again, what really matters is P1 at the end of the day. None of the driver standings actually matter. Team standings, every position actually matters and actually carries weight. So 51 points, McLaren to Red Bull. Looking like it's very overcomable. It's easy to overcome. Potential to overcome is high. With Checo in that car, with Ricciardo in a Red Bull, with Lawson in a Red Bull, with Snowden in a Red Bull, we just don't know. We just don't know. That is the quandary Red Bull find itself in. You know, you've taken a driver who was exceptional in 2020 and he's looked below average since. Albon, you know, came in, made a really good impression alongside Kvyat in the Toro Rosso, went into alongside Max, looked below average. Gasly, done really well up to that point of his career, getting the Red Bull, below average. Tough. It is tough. A win doesn't mean anything, even Maldonado has it. Shu, you know what? Like, again, the numbers do lie. You say numbers don't lie. They kind of do. They can, or maybe not lie, but numbers can mislead, can't they? It's like the whole Hulkenberg podium thing. Like, come on. There are drivers way worse than Nico Hulkenberg who have got multiple podiums. But sometimes the things don't quite pan out as you would hope, and maybe a Binotto Audi era will bring him the podium he has long deserved, but we'll get into that. But yeah, team standings. I mean, Ferrari aren't going to outscore McLaren this weekend, are they? Mercedes is still quite a way back. Mercedes is still like quite a way back. It just shows that's 81 points behind Ferrari. Mercedes are. Damn, that's a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage. Cool, right. Predictions time for the Belgian Grand Prix. What do we think is going to happen? Well, again, I am assuming Max is going to take some sort of engine penalty here. And I am expecting the McLarens to once again go well. And I'm expecting Lando Norris to win this race. That's my prediction. I think he is driving at a very high level right now. I think he is missing opportunities through a mixture of his own fault, team's fault, and a bit of bad luck. I think he'll win this weekend in Spa. Banger drive, and he knows he's got to capitalise on this last opportunity before the summer break. I'm going Daniel. I think Daniel drove very, very well in Hungary. Racing Bulls really let him down with that strategy called boxing him into traffic. And when he did have clean air, I'm saying Daniel Ricciardo, banger drive. Will he be in the Red Bull? What's the next race after the summer break? I don't even know. But will he be in the Red Bull by that point? Maybe. But I feel like he's driving well at the moment, even though the results aren't necessarily showing it massively. I think he's driving well at the minute. Also, there's someone called Mesquite McCloskey here, which I've never seen my surname, but with an O instead of a U. Look at that. Love it. Is it Zandvoort next? Oof, Zandvoort. That's where Daniel broke his hand as well, isn't it? Which, who knows? Imagine the butterfly effect, how things could be different now if Daniel hadn't broke his hand in Zandvoort. Because that would just affect everything, wouldn't it? In a little way. You know, tiny, tiny. The butterfly effect would be crazy. So I'm going race win Lando, banger drive Daniel, the ex-McLaren, well, one ex-McLaren boy, one current McLaren boy, going to cook. Clanger drive Pierre Gasly. The only reason is because when it rains, it pours. And he has had the stinkiest luck. And these things come in threes, right? He's had the stinky luck in Hungary with his car breaking down, the stinky luck in Silverstone with his car breaking down, and these things come in threes. So a nice L to end the first kind of half of the season for Pierre Gasly. Nothing personal, Pierre. I think you're driving really well at the minute, mate. I just think your team's gonna let you down, and you'll probably get caught in some unlucky shenanigans. So yeah. Look, he's got to get this third stinker out the way, Pierre, and then these things always come in threes. He has to get the third one out the way, then he can cook. You know? Banger team, Racing Bulls. I think I was enheartened by their performance at Hungary, and knowing how Red Bull run well around Spa and how much, you know, the Racing Bulls shares with that car. My expectation is that Yuki and Daniel are going to be quick, and they're going to be knocking on the old Aston Martin door for 5th quickest team this weekend. That is my prediction. The prediction, it is mine. Too much optimism. Listen. Always optimistic, never pessimistic, all right? Yuki win would be obviously a vibe. And maybe in the rain, you know? Anything can happen in the rain. In the crazy conditions. But banger team, Racing Bulls, clanger team, Alpine. For their car might look good, but I think it's going to stink. Performance-wise, anyway. So those are my predictions for the 2024 Belgian Grand Prix, and we will reflect on these predictions on either Sunday night or probably Monday morning in my post-race Chinwag, and I will gloat, because mine are going to be much better than yours. Bosh, 925 of you voted. I was quite late posting the poll, so thank you to everyone who did get involved. Sorry if you missed the poll. I literally posted it like this afternoon. So, my bad. Your predictions, your race winner for the 2024 Belgian Grand Prix is Lando Norris. 42% of the vote. Max Verstappen, 33%. Oscar Piastri, 11%. Lewis Hamilton, 5%. So you agree? You think Lando's going to cook this weekend? Again, if Max takes that engine penalty, that's really going to hurt his chances of winning the race, because he doesn't have that package anymore that is the quickest car. So recovering from, you know, if it would be the same if Lando was starting with a 10-place grid drop. Again, we don't know he's going to do that, but things seem to suggest that could be the way forward. Thank you, Elliot, by the way, for the super chat. Thoughts on Alpine's Deadpool livery for this weekend? Oh, Elliot, you wait, my friend. We'll get onto that. Don't you worry. So, race winner, Lando Norris. Your banger drive this weekend, Max Verstappen. 14% of the vote. I think that's the lowest percentage I ever remember like being the most on one of these. So 14%, 1-4, not 4-0, 1-4, 14% of the vote. Max Verstappen, 10% Daniel Ricciardo. So you lot are seeing what I'm seeing as well. 10% Lando Norris, 9% Charles Leclerc. What about Klang, though? Who's going to struggle? Well, 30% of the vote, Checo. It's kind of the default vote, but I mean, the percentage is coming down. But he always seems to win this. 10% Lando Norris, 8% Max Verstappen, 6% Lance Stroll. Yeah, no Ocon in the top 4. Sorry, Joe. So your Klang and Drive, Checo, Banger Team, McLaren, 32% of the vote, 18% Mercedes, 14 Red Bull, 12 Ferrari. It always seems to be those 4 in the top 4. I guess it depends on how you measure it, right? Is it just how good the team is, or how much they outperform expectations, I guess. McLaren, 32% of the votes. Yeah, no Sargent, exactly. Let Logan cook. Allow him to cook. Yeah, there was interesting bit of... Was it from Marcus Ericsson? I'm kind of paraphrasing here, so look it up yourself for the exact quote. But basically, Marcus Ericsson went on a pod, and he's not speaking in English, so I've had to rely on a translation I've seen on Twitter. But it's basically like he's heard from some of the American drivers in IndyCar that Logan has told them that he's not really speaking to Vowels at the minute. Don't know how true that is, but yeah, he's kind of, that relationship's kind of fully broken down, and basically Logan's only still there because of Drillton. That seems to be the prevailing thought from Marcus Ericsson spilling some tea on a podcast. But yeah, doesn't look good for Logan next season. But I think Logan in IndyCar, that'd be good to see. I'd like to see that next season in the Prima, perhaps. In the Prima IndyCar. Wash it. Drink it in. And then finally, Clanger team. Alpine, 20% of the vote. Aston Martin, 17. Sauber, 17. Red Bull, 13. Are they gonna have another difficult weekend? The Bulls that are red. Well, there you go. There's yours. Okay, there's yours. Here's mine. I mean, we both think Alpine stinks, so fair. Right, okay, cool, excellent, amazing, that's done. Predictions done, lovely jubbly. Let's have a little reflect as well on the news, the big news of the moment. Mattia Binotto is joining Audi to replace Andreas Seidel and Oliver Hoffman, but not in a like-for-like replacement. Seidel was CEO, Hoffman was chairman with Audi. Mattia is coming in as CTO, Chief Technical Officer, and COO, Chief Operating Officer. Now that does seemingly leave the door open for a team principal role and a CEO role. Maybe Audi don't want to structure their management like that. There is no one way of doing things. Every team has a slightly different way of structuring their management. So who knows? I think it makes sense. You bring Binotto in as a fantastic technical mind. You can't doubt Binotto's technical resume, CV, right? He's been there, done that, was at Ferrari for 27 years, headed up their engine division from 2013 onwards. You know, that 17, 18 Ferrari cooked there throughout the Michael years. You know, he knows what Ferrari did wrong. I hope, anyway. I think he's come back with a sense of unfinished business. He's dealt with the big higher-ups at a big multinational like Ferrari, and that should hopefully bode well for him at Audi. And I just hope that they focus him on the technical stuff. You know, CTO, absolutely the right call. Chief Operating Officer, I mean, again, I think his experience in Ferrari, his 27 years at Ferrari, should assist him with that role. You know, maybe in time they'll bring someone else in to take that responsibility, and they're just getting him to do those both for now in this kind of early stage. Well, say early stage. They've been working on this team for 2 years since Audi announced they were interested. And, well, look, Helita, I literally said that in my video with Cam yesterday. If you haven't watched it, go check that out. After this stream where we just had a good old chinwag about this news, our raw thoughts and feelings. And look, maybe it's an out there suggestion, right? But if you're going to bring Mattia Binotto to focus on the technical stuff and the operations of the team, Sebastian Vettel, bring him in, TP, to be the face. He's worked as, he's part of the GPDA for as long as he was, Grand Prix Drivers Association. It's relationship managing, which I think, wasn't Mattia's strength, hence the little arguments he'd have with Charles Leclerc. That relationship clearly was stressed. Even you see it in Charles' statement when Mattia left Ferrari. He was like, "Oh, we had our ups and our downs," and it's like, yeah. That's definitely definitely the words of someone who is somewhat sugarcoating probably the reality of the situation. But of course, this may also play into Audi wanting to get Sainz because Binotto was the one who signed Sainz. So maybe. Time will tell. But Vettel, Binotto, I mean, I don't know how that relationship ended at Ferrari because, of course, Vettel was in that seat when Mattia took over in 2019 and 2020. So maybe that relationship was somewhat strained. I don't know. But just the optics of, Binotto, focus on the technical stuff, bring in Seb. Everyone's got to start somewhere, right? And I think Seb is one of those, ex-drivers. I don't think he'll come back to F1. I don't think he'll race again in the sport. But what I do think is that he's got a career in F1 going forward if he wants it. And I think a leadership role of some kind, be that in a team or be that in the FIA or whatever, is destined for Sebastian Vettel. I'd love to see him do that. He commands a lot of respect. And I think he's a kind of, even though he would be brand new to this type of responsibility in a team, I do think having someone that commands such respect within this new Audi team is only going to benefit, You got Vettel, you got a German driver as well in Nico in one of the seats, and then, a Vettel Binotto led Audi with Hülkenberg and Sainz. I'm liking the ingredients are working for me. The ingredients are cooking. But any other suggestions, chat? Me and Cam couldn't really think of any off the top of our domes, apart from when I just plucked Vettel out of nowhere. Who could? Because, again, Mattia, he should not be team principal. I don't think that's the role for him. Yeah, Mike Crack has obviously been mentioned as potentially moving over from Aston Martin. Mika Hakkinen. Imagine that. Günther Steiner. Günther at Audi. Sorry, I'm not backing it. I'm not backing Günther's return, to be honest. I think he should stick to the media stuff now. Nico Rosberg, Claire Williams, Flavio's already otherwise taken up. See, there's not many names that really jump, and I think I don't know. Why not, right? Everyone's got to start somewhere. Like, Andrea Stella, yes, of course, he'd been part of McLaren for a long time and part of Ferrari for a long time. But he'd never done a team principal role before. It's a very different requirement, a very different responsibility. And he's taken it at McLaren and he's flown. I was, when they made that announcement of Seidel leaving and Stella taking over, I was concerned. I think a lot of people were concerned. It's the unknown of someone new to this role who hasn't got experience, but that doesn't mean it's the wrong choice. And I think, I'd love to see Seb doing it. Jenson Button. Me. Otmar. Otmar would be... I don't know if Otmar would suit Audi, I don't know if he would. I've got a lot of time for Otmar. I've got a lot of love for Otmar, but I don't think he would suit the big... I think you need a big name. I think Otmar would work at like a Haas. I think he'd work very well at a Haas. But at an Audi, I think you need someone, a bigger name like Seb would do bits. Cool. Right, that's Binotto to Audi news. The other bit of news, which I haven't actually prepared a slide for, is a certain team by the name of Alpine have brought out a special edition livery for this weekend's Belgian Grand Prix. Now, of course, Ryan Reynolds is part of the ownership group at Alpine, and he's got a new Is it a new Deadpool movie? To be honest, I don't really watch movies. I've seen one of the Deadpool movies. I'm not a big movie person, to be honest. So, but the livery they've put together cooks. It does. So what I'm going to do is, if you're watching, you will shortly see as I go through my files and bring out the images that we have of this lovely little number from Alpine. That one and that one. So here we go. Make these a bit smaller so you can actually see them both. Yeah, so Deadpool themed livery that they've brought out this time round. Just joined. Can you restart? Sure, Phil. Sure. We'll restart just for you. Let me put me up there actually, so you can see me, because I am, of course, the important thing here. Right, there you go. What do we make of it, chat? What do we make of this? Have they cooked? T, it's horrendous. Followed by a fee fanatic. Wonderful. Let's get a little poll going, shall we? Thoughts. We're going to do banger, small bang, mild clang, or clanger. Where do you sit on this one? So I really like the use of that deep dark red. Contrasts really nice with the white BWT on the side. Good legibility for them. It's not pink, of course, but so be it. A lot of work went into this from the team at Alpine, and I can tell you that for sure. I think it's really good. I think it's really cool. It's nice. You know what? It works with because you've got that deep dark red that's not fighting the black. It makes the amount of black, the amount of exposed carbon on the car look more purposeful, more intended, rather than just a weight saving exercise. So yeah, I think it really works with what they have with their kind of base template. I think they've done a very, very good job. There's some really interesting detail. Like if I make this one bigger on screen, you can see the little kind of ripple lines. See where around the BWT. So there's some like fine detail here. It's not just like solid colours. There's some actual like texture going on. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that looks. Obviously, these renders look fantastic, but a render can be misleading. So to actually see it on the real thing will be. I'm excited. Although I did see it. When I saw the post on Twitter, there was a good comment. It was like, all that to finish 19th and 20th. It's okay, but it's another dark livery. It is. But as a one-off piece, it's pretty cool. They've done a pretty good job, I think, on this. And the yellow's there because of Wolverine. There you go. Monster Energy will love that. They don't even sponsor Alpine. They sponsor McLaren now, and they're just, they still do a personal sponsorship with Lewis. So they still personally sponsor Lewis through Mercedes. They sponsor McLaren, and now they're inadvertently on the Alpine as well. Cook. Lovely jubbly. Yeah, I know Monsters Green. You know what I mean, Dawood. You know what I mean. No sprint this weekend. No. We are back to, Austin, Qatar, and Brazil, I want to say, are the 3 remaining sprints this year. Yeah, if Lando finishes first and Max second in every single Grand Prix for the rest of this season, Lando finishes, I think it's 1 point ahead of Max. But that doesn't include the 3 sprints, which then ruin the statistics. What's for dinner? Good question, kid. Good question. I'm actually going out for dinner tonight with the family. Little joint birthday thing. Not my birthday. It's good. Yeah, Brazil's going to slap. Yeah, I think for sprint races, I think Austria works really well as a sprint. I don't think Spa works great as a sprint. So I'm not upset that's gone. Yeah, I think Austria, Brazil, Silverstone, I think, was a good sprint when we've had that in the past. Yeah, well, if I had to pick 6, because there's 6 of 24, right? A quarter of the races are sprints. I would pick Austria, Silverstone. I guess you ideally want to spread them out throughout the season as well. But I'm not thinking that deeply into it. Austria, Silverstone, Kota, maybe, Matthew, yeah, maybe. Not. I wouldn't do Japan. I wouldn't do Japan, Dan. Kota could be a maybe. Austria, Silverstone, Kota, Brazil, Monza, Monaco, Charmander. What are you playing at? Baku. Yeah, Baku with a straight could be interesting. Jeddah. I don't think Jeddah. Brands Hatch. Sprint in Vegas. The locals would not be happy about that. Yeah, Kota is again this year. Correct, Bailey. Correct. Sprint in Qatar. Yeah, Qatar works. China would be interesting. Anyway, whatever. We're just saying things now. I'm not really adding anything to the conversation. Right, cool. Any more bits we got to go over? Chat, and any other bits of news or Canada Sprint? Canada Sprint. No, actually, I don't think Canada Sprint. I know there's certain tracks that I just think, ooh. Thank you, Jake, for the super chat. Will you sell that T-shirt you're wearing online? Also, Isaac, thank you for the same question and the same super chat. This is a sample, so make of that what you will. Time will tell. The colours might be a bit different, but we'll see. We will see, and thank you, Brit V, as well, for joining Friends of Tomo. Or extending with Friends of Tomo, should I say, because you got the 3 next to your name. And thank you, Siddharth, as well. I missed that earlier. Max's annual all-timer back-to-front race. Perhaps that will be the case in Spa this weekend, because if anyone's going to cook from the back to the front around this track, it is Maximilian Verstappen. Daniel, thank you as well for the super chat. I missed that from earlier. Going to be in Spa this weekend with Chris again, representing Tomo Army with your shirt. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like the shirt. I appreciate it. Be prepared for fun pictures you'll receive again. Have a good time, Daniel, mate. Enjoy it. Anyone else going, enjoy it. Have fun. Be safe. Be prepared for the rain. I'm going to be sat at home on the sofa watching it. And oh, actually, am I doing something? I think I'm doing something Sunday, actually. So I can't watch the race live. I'm going to have to watch it like in the evening and then probably do the post-race stream on the Monday. Any update on my custom helmet? I'd love to. I do want to do it, Avkid. It's just a lot of money. And I'm like, I'm doing other things at the minute. And I'm like, because if I actually wanted to do a custom lid design and make a video, which I do absolutely want to do that. But I want to do it properly with like a hands device and all that stuff. But then you're getting into the many thousands of pounds to get that custom painted as well. So, yeah. It's a lot of damage. But yeah, thank you all for coming. Appreciate you taking the time. And I will see you on Monday probably for the post-race Chinwag from the greatest 2024 Belgian Grand Prix to ever be. Okay? It's going to be a banger. I promise. I can't make that promise, but I'm doing it anyway. Bye, everyone.